Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is Monday, July the 14th. We had some news over the weekend. A lot of actually things coming into this week as well. With red folder news, we have core PPI, we have core CPI, and then we also do have some earnings here. Before we head on to the charts and basically everything that we're looking for coming into today. What's up? Good morning, Ricardo. What's up, B Roots? Teddy. Good morning, Jeff. Nontali. What's up, JT? Cuba. KO, Juan, Darth, Casanova, Martin, Robert, Monty, Ryan. Good morning, Joseph. What's up, Josh? Carlos, Wayne, Daniel. Good morning, Vate, Steven, Gisela, Charles. What's up, Chris, Audrey, Miss Reggie, Smart. What's up, Andreas, Ashley, Edison, Deuce. Good morning, Lauren. Yeah, hope you guys are doing well and had a great weekend. Let's head on to the weekly outlook to see exactly what we're looking for coming into today and look at all the red folder news and the earnings. So first things first, let's talk about the economic calendar and this earnings calendar here as well. So at least for the economic calendar, we'll go over this one first. The first red folder news event that we do have coming into this week is going to be core CPI. So core CPI, this is going to be tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is going to be very important for the market. And then following that up is going to be core PPI. That's going to be Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So usually this one's on Wednesday and then this one's on Thursday. But as you can see, core CPI tomorrow, it's going to be on a Tuesday. And then for Thursday, we have core retail sales, 8:30 once again. And then on Friday, we have the revised, the prelim consumer sentiment. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So basically a lot of red folder news events almost every single day. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll keep an eye out on that coming into at least today. So because today is the only day that we don't have a major high impact news event. As for the earnings calendar, we have earnings season coming up once again. So as you can see, we have a couple major earnings later into the week. As you can see, we do have Netflix that is going to be Thursday after close, along with IBKR. You have a couple other ones, primarily like ASML, like you have Wells Fargo, a couple of these banking and financial institutions that are reporting. So the major ones that we'll keep an eye out on is going to be Netflix. That's going to kind of kick off our earnings season. That is Thursday after close. Okay, let's head on to the charts to see exactly what we're looking for on the daily time frame. ES continuing to hold your previous all-time highs key level being the 6250. Right now, what I like to see is ES break above the all-time highs level if we want to see continuation towards the upside. So let's go on to the ES. So far, you can see we have a little bit of a gap down here over the weekend. We had some more tariff news, but we're gapping right into our key 6260, which in this case as well is our higher time frame previous level of resistance, as you can see back here. Now trying to use this level here as support. So for ES, what I like to see is the reaction that we have off your 6260. So far, you can see on the daily time frame, we are holding above your previous key level high. In this case, now you can see on the 1 hour chart here as well, higher lows are still being built. And what I'd like to see is really price maintain above your 6260. If you can maintain above this level, I like to see this really continue back up and towards now. It's going to be the top of the range, your 6330. The only way I'm a little bit more short bias is if we break underneath your 6260. That will be the market structure shift here on the 1 hour time frame, and that would most likely signify, at least on the daily chart here as well, that the momentum would start slowing down. So for ES, what I like to see is really the bounce off the low of the range, which we currently are, as you can see right here. Now coming into today, what I'd like to see is the gap fill back up and towards your close that we had last week. So let's go into lower time frames here. Key levels I'm going to have marked out is going to be this intraday level, which is going to be, let me actually just do this. Key level coming into today is just going to be your gap that we've created. So we have your previous day lows marked out. We also have another touch here in the overnight session. Now for the overall ES, what I like to see if price does want to have some more upside is the hold above your 6281 for this continued push back up and towards the gap fill that we created over the weekend. So that's the level I'm going to have marked out. I'm also going to have marked out this gap fill here that we have as well, which is going to be this 6293. So these are the levels that we're going to have marked out coming into today. As I mentioned, I am still more long biased towards the upside until we're able to break back underneath your 6260. I'm not as interested in shorts, at least on the major indices. If we now go on to the SPY chart, very similar thesis here on the SPY. Key levels for the SPY right now, as you can see, for the SPY is well above your previous all-time highs level. What I like to see is the SPY maintain market structure for now for continuation towards upside. Key levels for me is your 620 and now 628 for more upside. So as you can see here for the SPY, along with the Qs, we're actually well above your previous all-time highs all the way back from earlier of this year. Really, that's your only level of support on the major level support on the daily chart. So for the SPY and Qs, if we consolidate, which we are currently, I'd like to see the continuation, which is going to be above your last week's highs. But if we do potentially pull back, the next level of support is going to be all the way back down in towards your 612 here on the SPY on the daily time frame. So if I go back onto the 1 hour chart now, key levels I have marked out coming into today. Number one, I have your 619, which is your last week's lows. And then I also have your last week's highs marked out 626. So for SPY coming into today, I can also mark out a few other levels here as well on the lower time frames, which is going to be your previous low that we created here on Friday, which is your 621. So for SPY coming into today, what I'd really like to see reaction that we have off of your 621. If you can maintain above your 621, I like to see this higher low be built here on the 1 hour chart and continue back up in towards your gap fill that we created over the weekend and potentially your previous day highs here and above. Only way I look for a little bit more of a short bias consolidation underneath your previous day lows, underneath your 621 key psych level. We can see a potential move back down in towards your 619 here on the higher time frame. So key level 621.50s coming into today, previous day lows here on SPY. At least for the overall higher time frames, as I mentioned, we are slowing down just a little bit, but the market structure in the higher time frames are still very much intact, as you can see here on the daily chart. The first pullback has gone bought up on the daily time frame. We're still building up higher lows here on the daily chart as well. So until we can start breaking structure, I'm still going to be very much bullish, and I do expect major dips to get bought up for continuation back towards the upside. If we go into the NQ and the QQQ now, thesis for this coming week right now, you can see that the NQ is basing above the previous all-time highs level 22,800 on the higher time frames. I would like to see NQ maintain above that level if you want to see continuation towards the upside. I like to see the break above that flat top on the 1 hour if you do want to push higher. So for the NQ, very similar thesis to the ES here. As you can see on the daily chart right now, what we're doing is just basing above your previous all-time highs. So as you can see, this is your all-time highs here back from December of last year. And now we're essentially just basing above that level. We haven't had too much displacement, but we're just holding above your previous all-time highs. So if we now go on to the lower time frames, or if we zoom in here on the daily time frame, as you can see, your 22,800, very key level here on the daily time frame, also along with this down close candle that we also created here as well. So for the NQ, you can see we've just been ranging after hitting your all-time highs. A lot of more consolidation here on the 1 hour chart. What I would like to see now is the top of the range and the bottom of the range that we have marked out, which is your previous all-time highs. So for the NQ coming into this week, key levels that we have marked out is going to be this 22,840 and the top of the range 23,080. So for the NQ, if we can maintain the bottom of the range, I like to see this push back up and towards the top of the range, which is going to be this 23,080. Another scenario, right? Wait for the break of the top of the range. As you can see, multiple touches from last week and the week previous. We can see continuation. As for some more downside, I'm only interested in downside if we consolidate, get underneath your previous all-time highs, stay heavy underneath your 22,840 for a continuation lower. So on the lower time frames, I can refine these levels a little bit more, but on the 1 hour time frame, we're still holding above your previous all-time highs. What I would like to see coming into today, at least let me actually refine these levels. What I would like to see coming into today now is the potential gap fill back towards the upside. So for the NQ coming into today, what I'd like to see is really maintain above your 22,840 for this pushback up and towards the gap that we created over the weekend. So that's going to be the key level that we have marked out for the NQ. If we look at the QQQ, similar thesis here. Key levels that we can have marked out now is going to be your previous day lows, 552. If we zoom out here on the daily time frame, fairly similar thesis to the rest of the major indices along with the Qs. You can see our real only level of support is all the way back down in towards at least 540 here on the daily chart, right? If we can consolidate, we can see this next leg higher. Right after consolidation, so we have this big push higher, we have a little bit of consolidation. Only two things can happen. We either have continuation or we have a potential reversal that is in play. At least on the daily time frame, as long as you maintain above, now it's going to be this 552. So what I would like to see here for the QQQ coming into today, hold above your 552. As you can see, we have multiple touches here for this continued push back up and towards your previous day close. In this gap fill and your previous day highs and above, which will be your 556. So that's the level that I'd like to see hold coming to market open. We could potentially flush coming into today. So if we get underneath your previous day lows and hold, the next level is going to be your 550. And I would still be very bullish if price came back down in towards your 550 and the buyers step in and we end up pushing back towards the upside. So key levels today is going to be this 552 here on the QQQ. If we can maintain your 552, we can see this push back up and towards your previous day close in this case, which is going to be your 554 here. Another scenario, as I mentioned, if we do break underneath your previous day lows, 552, we could see this flush down in towards your 550. So this is going to be a very key level coming to today, 552 here on the QQQ. We don't have any red folder news today, so we'll see the reaction that we do have off of your previous day lows. Let's go on to Tesla. Thesis for this coming week. Gap down over the weekend on Tesla to fill the gap back towards the upside. So far, you can see the buyers stepping in off 289 on the higher time frames. Right now, this name is inside of the range here on the higher time frames. Okay. So for Tesla, key levels that we have marked out is this 290. So as you can see, previous level of resistance. Now you can see in the past couple of weeks, we have been holding this 290 level here on the higher time frames. As for Tesla, lately what's been happening is it's been an inverse compared to the overall market. If the Qs goes down, right, Tesla is usually a name that is a little bit more stronger, and then when the Qs is fairly bullish, you can see Tesla will be a little bit weaker. As for Tesla coming into today, key level that I have marked out is your 314. So as you can see, we're now above this level, which is the level that we ended up gapping down from. And now you can see this is also your last week's highs here as well, 314. So coming into this week, what I like to see now is really just the hold above your 314 for this continued push back towards the upside. As for other levels we can have marked out for as potential targets, it's going to be back from a couple weeks ago. It's going to be this 324. We can also mark out this 322 here as well. So coming into today for Tesla, you can see we're up about 1.25% coming into market open. What I would like to see now is the hold and maintain above your 314 for this continued push towards the upside, right? Above your previous day highs also play as well for this push up and towards your 320 here and above. But for Tesla, previous day highs and your previous week's highs, 314 is going to be a key level. Yeah, if you guys do have any charts, I'll go over these charts here in a second. I'll go over some of my tech names and then I'll go over some other names. Which broker? No, I use interactive brokers. Right now, you can see that Nvidia is leading the markets. Every dip has gone bought up on this name, and we've seen continuation towards the upside. Moving forward, similar game plan applies. All dips we like to see get bought up towards the highs. So for Nvidia, higher time frames, what we do have in this case is now finally the retest back above our 164. So as you can see here for Nvidia, key levels that we have coming to today, at least on the daily chart, if we're looking at this, we're very bullish. As you can see, we're above your previous all-time highs, end up retesting this level nicely, and now we're just having this nice continuation higher. If we now go on to the 1 hour time frame, you can see how well the structure is here on Nvidia, right? Every single dip is being used as support. So you can see these highs turning into support once we're closing above them. Once again, now we're finally breaking back above your 164. What I like to see is the buyer step in right off your 164.50. So coming into today here for Nvidia, as you can see, we had this double top and this flat top break that we had last week, immediate retest above your 164. Now we're actually coming right back down in towards the retest level. So coming into today, what I would like to see here on Nvidia is this 164.50 level being used as now support for this continued push towards the upside. So this will be one of my main watches coming to today, the hold of your 164. You can see so far here in the pre-market, nice hold, another hold in the pre-market once again. As long as you can maintain above your 164, you can see this push back up in towards your pre-market highs here and above. So we'll keep an eye out on your 164 coming into today on this name. Let's go on to Apple. Right now, you can see that Apple is basing above the 208 on the higher time frames. What I like to see is the hold above this level for a push towards the 216 and continuation towards the upside. So on Apple here, on the daily time frame, as you can see, we are basing above your basically this 208 on the daily time frame, and then now also this 210 here as well. So for Apple, you can see we had a breakout a few weeks ago with news. Now you can see this daily time frame is basing above this 207. What I'd like to see here for Apple is really the break above your 215 for continuation. So if you go on to the 1 hour chart, what I'd like to see here for Apple really is maintain number one above your 207. As you can see, this is your higher low key pivot level. So I'd like to see it make a higher low above your 207 here for Apple. And then really the next level that I do have is going to be above your 215. Above your 215, we can see continuation. At least 215 is fairly far away. So coming into today, the key levels that you're going to have marked out here on Apple is just going to be your previous day lows, your 210. This is going to be the level it has to reclaim if you want to see a pushback towards the upside. If you maintain underneath your previous day lows, you can see a push back down in towards your 207 here on Apple, which is going to be your higher time frame, higher low here. So previous day lows, 210 is going to be key for Apple coming into today. As for AMD, thesis for the next week, AMD first dip on the daily time frame getting bought up. What I'd like to see is now the break and hold above your 147.50 for continuation towards the upside. This chart is setting up nicely for a move back towards the highs. So as you can see here for AMD, the key levels that I do have is going to be this 147.50s. That is going to be the key level that we do have here on the higher time frames. If we now go on to the 1 hour chart, what I like to see here is one of two things here for AMD. Either we have this cup and handle form on the 1 hour chart and we continue towards the upside, or now if we get that break above, it's going to be this 147.50. If you can get that break above your 147.50, we can also see this continue push back towards the upside. So for AMD coming into today, the key levels that I'm going to have marked out, if I actually refine the levels, I can have marked out number one, it's going to be your Thursday's highs, and we can also mark out your previous day highs here as well, which is going to be your Fridays and last week's highs. So AMD, what I like to see coming into today is one of two things: hold above your Thursday's highs for continuation back towards the upside, or now it's going to be the break above your previous day highs, which is going to be this 147.50 for this continued pushback towards the upside. we can set the alerts here, which is going to be above your 147.50. As for some other names that we do have, Meta. What I like to see on Meta is the cup and handle on the higher time frames. As you can see, this one is retesting the 710 key level. I like to see this level hold for continuation back towards the upside. So for Meta, as you can see here on the daily time frame, after hitting all-time highs, your 740 key level, we're having a little bit of reaction, but now we're just coming right back in towards our previous level of resistance. Now we like to see this level be used as support. So as you can see here for Meta, key levels that we're going to have marked out 708. As long as you can maintain above 708 on the daily time frame, you like to see this continue push back towards the upside here on Meta. As for Amazon trying to break out of this consolidation here on the higher time frames. What I like to see is a strong daily close above 225 now for continuation towards the upside. That is going to be key if we want to see continuation on this name. So for Amazon, as you can see here on the daily chart, key levels that we have marked out is this 224. So as you can see, we have our 224 marked out. We consolidated, broke above, consolidation once again. Now we like to see a little bit more continuation on this name if we can see this push back towards the upside. Next levels will be your 229 here and above. As for Amazon, as you can see so far, our previous level of support now being used as, previous level of resistance now potentially being used as support here. 224 for this continued pushback towards the upside. You can see so far we're breaking above, consolidation, break. Now let's see if we can have that continuation back up and towards your previous day highs here and above for continuation towards the upside. So key levels is now going to be this 226, and we also have our 229 here on the higher time frames. So that's what we have here for Amazon. So now, if you guys do have any charts, you guys can drop them in the chat and I'll go over them. I'll quickly go over what I'm looking at for the SPY and Qs once again, but the key level is going to be your previous day lows here on the Qs. Along with SPY, similar thing, previous day low 621, QQQ, it's going to be this 552. As for the NQ, key levels that we're going to have marked out, similar thing, 22860, and then for the ES, previous day lows 6280 here on the higher time frames. As for some of my favorite watches coming into today, it is going to be Tesla above your previous day highs 314. We do have a lot of room back towards the upside. This one has been being down, but this one's showing a little bit of relative strength last week. If we do want to see continuation, it is going to be above our 314. And then, of course, the semiconductors, NVIDIA recently broke out. Now I'd like to see the hold above your 164.50. A couple of the semis are looking nice. Amazon shaping up nicely here. And then we also do have a few other names here as well. Okay. Jack's hairs, Gloria's hair is a distraction. Yeah, my hair is always in the way. It's basically what I wake up. I should do my hair in the morning. Interactive. Let me go over SoFi. Yes, my broker is Interactive Brokers. You can use any broker as long as it's regulated. If you trade options, you trade stocks, you trade futures. Basically, most brokers are regulated, but you have to be careful. There are some unregulated brokers when you're trading Forex, similar with futures as well. So make sure they are regulated. If you are going to, in my opinion, you're going to choose any broker, right? Make sure they're regulated. Okay, let me scroll up here. Palantir. Which strike price would you be looking at for NVIDIA? Just one out the money. So if I was looking at NVIDIA, I'll be looking at, you can look at the 165s, or now you could be looking at the 167.5s, most likely the 167.5s, just because that's where your strike is, plus your previous day highs, right? That would be the next key level, and you're trading on a Monday. So you can be looking at the 167.5s. What app do you use to set stop loss and take profits on your trade? What app? There's not, I wouldn't say there's an app. It's just through your broker. So for Palantir, key levels that we have marked out is your 139. So let me just get rid of a couple key things here for Palantir. So for Palantir, really our main objective got hit last week, which was our 144.97. That was the exact area that we broke down from. As you can see right here, this is your daily high. So we end up breaking down from this level and we end up meeting this objective perfectly. And then you can see nice little reaction right off that level for this pushback towards the downside. As for Palantir now, what I'd like to see is the break above. It's going to be the break above your 145 if you want to see continuation higher. So for this name, key level now, you'd like to see it reclaim above your 143 for a push up in towards your last week's highs. But the best trading opportunity, in my opinion, is going to come above your 145 for this push back up in towards your all-time highs, 147.68. So keep an eye out on your 143 along with your last week's highs at 144. That's going to be for more upside here on Palantir. I wouldn't be too interested in shorting this one, but higher time frames, if you can reclaim above key levels, this one looks good for a continuation. As for HIMS, this one reaction that we have was your 51.50. This is the key level we wanted to see price get above. You can see multiple touches on HIMS. So now moving forward, price is going to have to get above your 51.50 for me to be interested. Also for this one, higher time frame technically is bearish, at least on the 1 hour chart after this big push lower. So for HIMS, key levels that you're going to see now, if you do want to see the buyer step in, is going to be this higher low here off your 46.50. So you end up basing here. Higher low established, you want to see make another higher low off your 46.50 for this continuation higher. If price consolidates, potentially you see these lower highs being put in, get back underneath your 46.50. Potentially you could be looking for a short underneath your 46.50. But until then, expect this higher low to potentially be bought up here on HIMS. As for SoFi, this one, higher time frame, still bullish. I'll do like a full kind of write-up potentially on SoFi on Twitter, but this one, higher time frames, looks still very much intact. Key levels that we're going to have is really next level, 25 really on the major higher time frames. If we go into the 1 hour chart now, key levels that we're going to have established is going to be this high, which we can, let me just remove a bunch of levels here. So SoFi key levels that we're going to have marked out now is going to be this 2080 key psych level. As you can see here, this was your high that we created on Monday. And then this level ended up being used as a retest and level of support here later into the week. So once we're able to get above this level, you can see nice retest hold here on Friday. Now for SoFi, as long as you maintain above key levels, what I like to see now is the hold above your 2120. So in this case, this is your Thursday's highs. I like to see maintain above your 2120 for this continuation back up and towards your previous day highs here and above. As for Coinbase, so Coinbase along with MSTR and a bunch of these other sympathies, right? Bitcoin is at all-time highs. So whenever Bitcoin is at all-time highs, everything else is essentially lagging behind since Bitcoin is the leader. So now you essentially like to see all these other names play catch up. Usually I look at this one. Okay, so for Bitcoin, as you can see, breaking out here of its daily consolidation, and you end up having this really nice push towards the upside. Bitcoin now, since it is at all-time highs, you can draw out fibs, you can look at key psychological levels, but this one in a very clear daily uptrend, and so you can expect now continuation towards the upside. As for coin, key levels really on this name now is going to be your all-time highs, your previous all-time highs. 429 here on the higher time frame. So for coin, if you go on to the daily chart, what I would like to see now is it maintain above this previous pivot level, which is your 368. So you can see right here, 368, multiple touches. End up using this nicely as a retest level. We can also mark out this level here as well, which is your 380, another level where we ended up having resistance, turning into support for this continuation back towards the upside. So for Coin, what I like to see is really the maintain above your 380 here on the higher time frames. Now for the next leg towards the upside, above your previous day high. So what I like to see now, above your previous day highs, 394 for this continued push back towards the upside. Another possible scenario, the hold above your 380 for this continuation higher as well. So that's the levels we can have marked out on coin coming into today. Let me set an alert on this one. All right, let me scroll down here as well. All right, so it is 8:30 here as well. So I'll go over a few more tickers for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll develop my game plan for today. All right, so for APLD, key levels that we do have is really, you see this pop and then it's just kind of fading off right back in towards essentially the area that it broke out from. So most likely the first sign of buyers are going to step in either off your 750, or if it can reclaim back above, now it's going to be this 960 here. So we have multiple touches at your 960. So far we're using this as now resistance. If you do want to see some more upside, reclaim back above your 960 for this continued push back towards the upside. As for gold, this one shaping up as expected. What we do have here, this higher time frame wedge pattern that we expect to form. So you can see buyers stepping in nicely off of your 3,300. Now we like to see it push back up and towards the top of the range here on gold. So key levels that we have marked out is your 3347. Now this is the level that we broke up from, so I like to see this level hold for this push back towards the upside. Going to lower time frames, just a lot of mean reversions, reversals. So key levels is going to be this 3347 here on gold, and now we can also mark out this level here, which is the top of the range, 3375. All right, let me scroll down here. I see there's a lot of questions. Let me answer some questions as I go over some tickers. Circle, I heard most of your videos that sometimes you keep some contracts and you swing more. That means you don't buy one day expiration. Yeah, all the expirations that I do have are usually weeklies. The only 0-day expirations that you're going to trade is if you trade SPX. Those have 0 expiration every single day. But the rest of the tech names and most of the other names as well are going to have weekly expirations instead of daily expirations. As for Circle, key levels that we have marked out in this case is your 210. So 210 is higher time frame pivot level that we tried getting above. We're just not able to. So now you can see we're right back towards the downside. So at least on the higher time frames, the key level, you like to see reclaim 190, and you also like to see the reclaim above your 208 for continuation higher. So far, it does show a little bit more weakness here. So if you can maintain underneath your 192, potentially you can see your previous day lows here and below. Let's see, so far similar ones. TSM, how do you accurately enter / exit? Looking for underlying price on a chart versus option contract price have the same setup as you, having difficult timing with entries and exit. It's all based off the underlying. So whatever the underlying is, it's going to be based off that. As for your risk amount, right, when you're looking at the risk when trading options, you can base it off of the actual options chart, or you can calculate the delta. Primarily, every single time you're going to be looking for, at least when you're trading the break and retest, you really only need a 10 to 20% stop. That's really the max that you're going to give it. If you're giving a little bit, if you're trading with more than a 10 to 20% stop, most likely you're not giving it enough room, or you're trading this on the higher time frames, then that makes more sense. But if you're trading on the lower time frames, all you need is a 10-20% stop. As for TSM, higher time frames, as you can see, we're above your previous now all-time highs. 226, we like to see TSM maintain above 226 if we want to see continuation towards upside. So key levels, higher time frames, 226. This is the level we like to see maintain on the daily. Other levels we're going to have marked out here as well is going to be this 229. So this is another key level of support that we like to see hold for this continued pushback towards upside. As for prop firms, let me go over these ones. Prop firms, most likely, let me scroll up here as well. Yeah, if you guys do have any tickers, you guys can drop them in the chat. I'll go over any charts that you guys do have. Let me just go over some of these ones now. As for Oracle, This one, higher time frame, still very much intact. As you can see, now we're pulling back just a little bit. The level of support and level I'd like to see hold really is this high. This is kind of my last level of defense here for Oracle. I'd like to see it maintain above this 228 for this continued pushback towards the upside. If we consolidate and potentially break underneath, this can push down lower quite a bit since there isn't too much volume in between your 228 and this 216. So for Oracle coming into today, what I would like to see, maintain above your 228. If you are looking for a trade setup, it's going to be the reclaim back above your 230 here on Oracle. Pick expiration when trading the tickers. It's just weekly expirations and either one with the money or the one that has the most volume. As for AVGO, this one recently hit our all-time highs as well, or 278 so far. You can see after hitting all-time highs on this name, a lot of these ones just started to slow down a little bit just because we met our main objective. Now for AVGO, what we'd like to see is really maintain above these higher lows. So as you can see, we have a bunch of these higher lows being built. This is kind of the general trend line that I do have marked out on AVGO. So we're at a very key inflection point here. So for me, what I like to see is the reclaim. If we're looking for more upside, reclaim back above your 277 for continuation higher. If you are a little bit more short bias, the levels that you're going to have marked out, number one, previous day lows, and they also have this 260. So this 269 here on the higher time frames. So that's what we have here for AVGO. As for MSTR, this is another one we can take a look at. This one is a Bitcoin sympathy. The best Bitcoin sympathy is going to be IBIT, direct correlation to Bitcoin. Whereas MSTR and other names, they are direct sympathy as well, but this one's essentially the most closest one-to-one that you're going to get, which is IBIT. In this case, you can see really nice gap ups in this chart, and we have continuation higher. Key levels, you can just mark out the Bitcoin chart for this one. But for MSTR, levels that are going to have marked out now is going to be your previous day highs, your 437. So we can have this level marked out. What I'd like to see now for MSTR is really the hold above your 437. If you can maintain above your 437, you can see this nice continued push back up and towards your 450 here and above. Levels that we can have marked out is going to be your 450. And then after that, it's really your all-time highs. Let's go over hood. I'm having issues with TradingView not showing premium charts, and I am paid up. Any suggestions or how to contact? You can, the premium levels, you can just refresh your TradingView, right? Close down your TradingView and open it back up. If that's not working, you can, let's see, the not showing, it should show up, right? If you just have this, or you have the stock, sorry, it's called the stock level. So I guess you have the wrong one since it's updated now. So you have to go onto WAP and claim the new ones if you already got it. So just go to the WAP and claim the new indicator since the stock level ones is the old version of the indicator. As for hood, key levels that we do have is your 100 key psych. As you can see, a couple of reactions off your 100 key psych. Now what we like to see is the break above your 100 and hold. So right now you can see multiple touches here. Break above your 100 key psych hold for this continued push back towards the upside. So that's what we have on hood. Let me scroll down. On Friday, how many contracts I took for the following week and bought 20. I had 100 on the zeros. I answered that one. Okay. I signed up to access the watch list, but I only see pre-market videos on WAP. Is there the same thing, or do you have a separate watch? So that, yeah, that's basically the videos. I have a watch list on Twitter. That one, you can go and watch that one. But at least for the WAP, that one's primarily just videos that I do have. Okay, let me scroll down here. It's 8:40 here as well. I went over that one. MSTR hood looks good. Yes. Key check Tesla, BBAI. Yeah, I went over Tesla. As for BBAI, this one slowing down here now once we broke underneath key levels. As I mentioned, key level was that 787, and now you can see we end up using this level here as well, 720 for a pushback towards the downside. So this ticker, really, I don't have too many levels of support here now. We're underneath your 630 key levels that I have is going to be all the way back down in towards your 580. So these are the levels you're just going to have marked out. Can you explain hijack do you recommend using your strategy? I mean, about the 15-minute about prop firm. You can use it on the NASDAQ. Make sure to back test it. Coinbase, IBIS, and ETF, yes. How do you choose what stocks to trade, i.e. if it's only tech-based hottest sector? Yeah, it's whatever is the hottest sector, whatever has the higher time frame. So lately, for the past few months, we've been just trading semiconductors since these ones have been leading towards the upside with SMH at all-time highs here as well. So primarily the main semiconductors, NVIDIA, AMD. We also have other names like MU, TSM, AVGO, right? These are the main themes that have been leading towards the upside. Now with the overall market consolidating, you can see SPY and Qs consolidating. A couple other sectors that we do have is Bitcoin. So that's why you can see coin, right, MSTR, and some other names are shaping up nicely here. So essentially whatever is hottest and whatever has higher time frame setup. Okay. Let's see. How long do you hold your weeklies? If so, do you always choose out of your contracts? The dailies is just day trade. So if I have a day trade, I'm only going to hold it for the day. But if we have a daily breakout, then I'll hold some trailers into day number 2, which would be the next day or potentially the day after. But primarily, it's just going to be day trades. But if we do have a big move on day number 1, then I'll hold some potentially overnight. Go on WAP and claim the new ones. Yeah, if you claim the new ones, then that's good. Okay. I am going to go over my game plan once more, and then I'll call it a day here. So for SPY coming to today, right, game plan for the overall indices is just going to be the reaction that we have off of your previous day lows, 621.50s here on the SPY. If you maintain your 621, we'll just see this push back up and towards your gap fill. And then for the QQQ, similar thing. If we just maintain above your previous day highs, we can see this push up and towards your gap fill and your previous day close. So that's what we have for Qs. The only way I look for more downside underneath your previous day lows, 622, SPY, similar thing underneath this 621. As for my top watches coming to today, I do like Tesla. It's going to be above your previous day highs, 314. I like to see the retest, buyer step in off your previous day highs here on Tesla. NVIDIA, we're going to keep an eye out on this one right off the bat since it's right back at our retest level from last week. We ended up having this nice breakout here on Friday. Now let's see if the buyers step in for this continued pushback towards the upside off of your 164. And then for other names that I do like, AMD, we're going to keep an eye out on this one. The reaction off of our 145, and primarily it's going to be your previous day highs, 147. Amazon looks good here as well. Higher time frame, a little bit of a slower mover on Amazon, but higher time frame is still setting up nicely. Now it's going to be above our 223 here for continuation. And then I do like Apple if we can potentially reclaim this 710. As for a few other names on the other side, we can keep an eye out on a couple of these Bitcoin sympathies just because Bitcoin is running up nicely. I do like coin here, the reaction that we have off of your 382, and then you can also keep an eye out on your previous day highs here on coin 395. Okay. Yeah, so that is going to be it for me today. If you guys did enjoy that, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like and sub. If you guys want to join the free watch list, that is in the description below. For my daily plan, yeah, I send out my daily plan every single day. Either if you're in the Discord, it's already in the Discord. If you're in the watch list, it's in the watch list in video form. And then now I also have it on X as well, where I post basically my game plan before the week and some charts that I'm looking at on the higher time frame. So that's what I have. What else? Yeah, if you guys want to join that watch list, that one's in the description. And then if you guys want to follow my game plan, you guys can follow me on X. All right, that's going to be it for me today. And I will see you guys all tomorrow morning. All right, take care, everyone.